Aru, hello. Welcome in. Aru is on a 5-stream streak. 5-stream streak. Thank you. And Aru said first. You got the first message, Mr. Aru? How's it feel? Hey, yeah. That old guy and Faster in the chat. Let's go. Quasimodo football, he is muted. What does it mean when he's muted? Won't someone please tell me, please? Fastra is evolving, Fastra is revolving. Fastra's in her car and driving down the road tonight. Fastra, it's Fastra. Fastra, it's Fastra. When are you gonna screen share Twisted to us, Fastra? What are we supposed to dub?
The cheese on the screen.
Yeah, do you like it?
Yeah, it's like such a cheese color.
I'm so, I'm so glad. I'm so glad my stream makes you think of cheese. That old guy, do you also think of cheese when you see this?
No, I can't think of anything else.
Cheese. By watching my stream, you get the cheese touch.
That's what's his name? Who did his videos and go,
Ray Sipe?
Ray Sipes. Cheese. That's how he said it.
Fasha's sharing her screen. I need to buy cheese? Talk about cheese. What kind of cheese are you gonna buy, Aru? Boom, bum, bum, bum,
Some Colby Jack.
Colby Jack? I could see it.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Ba-dum, bum, bum, bum. Bum, ba-dum, 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 bum, ba-dum. Ba-dum-bum-ba. So are we gonna finish the event?
Uh-huh.
No.
How's that gonna go?
They're gonna
American.
say, "Hey,
Oh, it's super blurry. Look at the stream, Pastra.
oh, I see. Oh my god.
Pastra, what is
Hey.
going on over there?
Cheese appeared, so I can fix it."
Aru says American, but real American cheese, not cheese product. That's a real American cheese right there. That old guy, what is your opinion on cheese product?
Cheese product ain't cheese.
True.
They should just make it real cheese.
Hey, Stick Amethyst, welcome in. Do you like cheese, Stick Amethyst? I hope cheese gets mentioned in Twisted Wonderland today. Hey, you see that, Gino? Considering how fancy their cafeteria is, we'd better fill up on as much food as we can. Mm-hmm. Yes, let's go. We got real cheese fans in the chat. Ernesto. Kalimanville. Ernesto again.
You might hear some sounds because I have a guest over
Ah, I see.
in my quarters.
行こう授業へ授業はこのように
Like train is almost max leveled.
Oh, nice.
Okay, here we go.
Playful
Wah,
land
wah,
is
wah.
here. A dramatic last stand. Ace, ace, ace.
What's it called?
Boatload of payback.
That was really something. Borderland, Boatland.
Playful
Where is
land,
it located?
playful stage. Well, all of your puppet shields are gone.
How evil and mischievous he looks while saying that.
It got blurry.
No.
Ari,
Well-
look at this. This is what cheese product is like. This is the stream equivalent of cheese product.
Yes.
That old guy, fix it.
I'm tapping my screen. It doesn't do anything.
Fastest. Come on, we're counting on you. Don't let us down. True. Mm-hmm. Ari, you get it. The stream equivalent of cheese product. Oh, it's clear.
Help. All of your puppet shields are gone. What now?
I didn't think
What
we'd get this
now?
far. Ugh.
Uh,
Why do you have like a ghostly echo?
did it all of a sudden. Sorry.
It's time for my secret weapon!
Hmm? Your secret weapon? Everyone stay here. Mm-hmm.
Run for it, Gino!
That's the secret weapon. Running. That surprised me so much I needed extra processing time.
Wait, JoJo reference? How's it a JoJo? You mean the fact that he ran away? If so, I don't get it. Do you get the reference, Fastra?
No, I only watched JoJo Season 1, Part 1.
Oh, dang. Explain, Aru. Yeah, hyping up a secret weapon just to run away is part 2. Epic JoJo reference from Ernesto.
E. They took off running at full speed.
Hey, get back here. Where's your pride, huh?
If I had any of that, I wouldn't have spent all that time buttering you twerps up!
Wait, please. I just want to talk with you guys.
The daggers your friends are glaring at us say otherwise. Hard pass!
Whoopsie. Guess I let my anger show. We can't let them get away. Let's surround and capture them. I think so. You had them off in the air. Lane, you get outside and block the theater door so they can't escape.
Can't get escape? Why did it go look at it, Straw? Can't get escape.
I can't believe I never noticed.
Why did they say can't get escape?
Good idea. On it.
Ace Trapula, something tells me blocking the door wasn't your actual goal there.
Oh, alright, send a link.
Something.
I don't like the dub, but alright, it'll have to do for now. Let's see it.
I've got a plan.
Are showing it on stream?
Yes.
I've got a plan. Huh? Did I hear you right, Jojo? Volta.
No sound. Oh wait.
One
My-
last all-or-nothing gambit. All-or-nothing gambit, you say? Yeah, it's my final move. What does it involve? Jojo, when you say final move, you're not referring to that final move, are you? Listen up. This is something you're going to have to do for yourself. Just tell me what to do and I'll follow your lead, Jojo. Run for your life! Oh, man, I knew you were gonna do that!
Whoa. Thanks for sharing, Mr. Aru. I've never seen that before. But that is exactly what happened. Whoa! Do you see this, that old guy?
What the?
Holy
my gosh.
guacamole and biscuits and butter. What is going on, Fastra?
Biscuits and butter and guacamole?
Fastra! Fix it!
As soon as I see cheese on the stream, I can move it.
This is the worst it's ever been. Oh my goodness! Fastholic. This is... Fastra got that 240p video. Get him! Fastra, why are you out here with that 240p video? Come on.
I don't know.
Clear up, Fastra. Clear up.
I will be right back there, Mr. Bob.
What? Gotta wait for that old guy?
Just a sec.
Okay. Let's watch more JoJo clips. Fascia, it's... What is going on over in the Fastreville? Hydrate time. Okay. I'll hydrate.
Yeah.
Holy guacamole. Fastopolis.
Wait, why'd it get super blurry?
I don't know. It's 240p again.
Here, I'm gonna disconnect from my internet.
Oh. Oh my goodness.
Did it get any better?
Not yet. A little better than before, but still pretty blurry. Bum 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 ba-dum bum ba-dum. Brrr. Fascia's on that Xfinity 30 megabits per second plan. Fascia, he's calling you out. Why?
And at this apartment, they make us get their internet. We didn't get to choose.
Yeah. Sus out the wazoo. Ortho. When will Ortho's VA be back?
I don't know. He has to go get maintenance first.
Gotcha. Let me guess. You were trying to get Kalim Al-Asim away from this area, weren't you? I know, I wish that song was playing. Now it's just nothing. Can you do tick 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 until he comes back? It'll make him come back faster. Why isn't it working? That always works. What happens if you bookmark Ace and Ortho?
It just says that.
Okay. Click hide. Nice. They're just staring at us. I hired these boys to stare at you. Are they doing a good job?
One just does not care, and the other is kind of like,
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with those expressions. Oh! Fastra!
Oh!
Spoilers! Fastra! Now you just spoiled the whole stream.
But I had the motion detector thing in my security system says the batteries need to be changed, but I just changed them like 2 weeks ago, so I'm not really sure what's up with that.
Was it? How did you know?
I heard it. I got a notification on my phone, then I heard a kind of alarm, and then I looked at the panel, and it said that the batteries need to be changed.
Ah, I see.
But I said, I just changed them out, so I'm confused about that.
Yeah. Maybe Aru can offer some advice. Smart home will always give you trouble. I see, I see.
It's so laggy.
It looks fine to me.
Got rid of my full combo.
Oh no.
Look at Graham going ham in the back.
Yeah, I'm dancing for tuna. Hey, I'm in the shot too.
Look at him go.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Woohoo, wow. Oh, yeah. Grim's in the building. Woo, 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 woo. Are you getting the full combo? Ah!
No, I was gone long ago.
Yeah, I'm spinning for the full combo, full combo, full combo, full combo.
Join the festivities. Join the festivities. Ho ho! So you're approaching me. Ace, ace, ace!
Beep-a-ba-dee-ba-boo-ba-ba.
Boatload of payback. Ace Trapola, something tells me blocking the door wasn't your actual goal there. Let me guess. You were trying to get Kalim al-Asim away from this area, weren't you? Excuse me? Have you know that was a show of consideration toward our kind-hearted Kalim? He gave them a fair shot at taking this out. They're the only
Not
ones
taking
that threw
this
it
out?
away. Taking this out. They're the ones that threw it away. They're the ones that threw it away. Well, I suppose we've given them plenty of chances already. Exactly. Now, it's time to give them a whole boatload of payback.
There it is.
このフェロ
Boatload of
モンの
payback.
心配するな
Oh, I accidentally
すべてうまく
skipped his line because he was on TV. I'll come
Yeah.
back.
あるね
Aru ne. Get it? Aru?
俺もそうする
邪魔者
よし
Oh, Gino.
俺に勝てると思ったのか
It was a guess.
Ha, I get it. That's a funny one. That's what I'm talking about, Aru. You get it. You would get it.
Okay, we get to hear his line this time.
このフェローネストの腕前も分かるってもんさ
オッケーすぐに
We still cut off a little bit because I forgot to. Okay, for real this time.
Bum, bum, ba-da-da-dum, bum.
Boatload of payback.
He's so ready.
Playful and playful stage.
Could you hear the beeping?
Very little. It was like very faint.
このフェローネストの腕前も分かるってもんさ
There you go.
Yay! Getting giddy? Get it, Aru? Getting all giddy? Giddy? Get it?
Getting all giddy. Playful and playful stage. Ah, okay, I've had it up to here chasing you around.
Ugh. All our escape routes are blocked off. Oh. Beep! Stop that, you ninny! Are you trying to hit me with your hammer? Aim for them!
Magic that's barely worth mentioning and a hammer that can't tell the difference between friend and foe? Actually, is it just me? Is Gino's hammer, or you been falling on Ernesto? I think you're right. Joke's on us for taking these two clowns seriously. Let's wrap this circus up. Take this!
Ah! Curses! Doesn't matter how fancy your school is. You're still just snot-nosed brats. So how are you getting the better of us?
Easy. Everything we know, we learned from that fancy school you keep sneering at. We'd never lose to a couple of guys too cowardly to face us head on. You might as well admit we've won. You could have avoided this whole ordeal if you just listened when we were trying to reason with you. Now turn everyone back into people.
Ha ha! You got me! Your power has left me awestruck!
What? Buttering us up now isn't gonna get you off the hook.
Oh yes, I'm well aware. We've made a tremendous, horrible mistake. We would never be so shameless as to beg on hands and knees for forgiveness.
Okay. Something's fishy about this 180. Yeah, he looks pretty beaten up, but if we let him get in close, he could still attack.
Why? I would never! Whoa!
I dropped the phone because I was trying to itch my hand and then it dropped out of my. Oh, okay.
Why'd you skip so much of me? Why? I would never! The battle's already decided, is it not? Even if I did try to run or fight, I'm no match for you scholars. You've won, fair and square. Goodness, have I ever underestimated you Night Raven College scholars? Now I realize more than ever just how elite you are, how far out of your league I am.
Out of our league? You're right about that. You finally come to accept reality, huh?
Oh yes, I assure you, you drilled that lesson into me quite thoroughly. Your magic was astounding. I could spend my whole life striving for that level of precise power and never reach it. Who's this extraordinary mage? Why, it's Ace! Who could stand in the way of his overflowing talent? No one, that's who! No average Joe would have thought to misdirect the puppets with a lost item, much less been bold enough to try. Yes, I've been thoroughly outplayed. The self-possessed way this freshman carries himself shows incredible promise. And Ortho, your beams were amazing. Where were you hiding that kind of power? You truly represent the future of technology. A plain old guy like me couldn't begin to imagine what makes you tick. You must be made of the most cutting-edge technology that these prestigious scholars could have come up with. Does the name Ortho secretly mean future? Sounds like our dictionaries need updating, not to mention the whole world. You're a literal miracle, one containing infinite possibilities, simply incredible.
Oh gosh, everything you're saying is indeed factually correct, but it's still so embarrassing to hear it out loud. Yeah, wait. What am I getting all giddy for? I can't let this guy's flattery go to my head.
Oh yes, of course. We can't stand around chatting all night. I'll turn all the puppets back. Come, I'll show you to where they're being held. What a weird 180 indeed. It's like a totally different guy.
He's gonna trick him. No
I
way.
know. Ooh.
Fight the misdeed. Playful land, playful stage.
I'll turn all the puppets back. Come, I'll show you to where they're being held.
Please do. We've been so worried about them. Let's go, Ace. Alright. Good call.
What's this? Your outfits are rather dirty now that I'm looking. Would you care to change?
What? I don't know that there'd be much point. I'm fine as I am. Let's just get to the others.
Oh no! This won't do at all! You're about to come to your friend's rescue! In their eyes, you'll be the heroes who saved them from peril. Great big shining stars! Looking all raggedy is hardly fitting. You'd ruin the touching moment. Wouldn't you agree, Gino? There, you see? Gino thinks so as well. Stars deserve only the finest of costumes. Here! Come on, take it easy! Life is fun.
Now that you mention it, I could go for a change of clothes. Yeah, we should save everyone in style. He's so tricky.
Of course! Take your time. And if you'd like, I'd be happy to look after the items in your pockets while you get changed.
That'd be great. Thanks. I've got a pack of tissues, some mints. Oh yeah, I'd forgotten I left this in my pocket. Playful Land ticket. Admit 1. Here's my Playful Land ticket.
Great! I'll take good care of everything.
Okay, we'll go change and be right back. I'm losing strength. Ortho? Hey, stay with me. Is this what I think it is? But how?
No. Ortho.
What happened, Ortho? Collapsing out of nowhere like that? Oh no! That wood growing out of your face! What are you turning into? Why are you turning into a puppet? I don't know. I haven't done anything bad.
You stupid little twerps! You sealed your own fate the very instant you handed me these.
Are Playful Land tickets? Those are the tickets we gave you, but one's been torn up.
Thanks for the stretching time, Stick Amethyst. I warned you when you first entered Playful Land. Your validated tickets are proof that you're a legitimate park visitor. Remember?
Proof? Then if anything happens to them,
You're no longer permitted to be here. In other words, you're unauthorized visitors. And that, young scholars, is quite the misdeed, wouldn't you say?
Ace, quick, get your ticket back. I'm on it.
I think not! Oh.
Craig. Not after we got so far.
No. Kaleem, it's all up to you.
Bigger problems. Playful end. Playful stage.
Hey guys, I've been blocking the door from the outside, but nobody ever tried to come through though, so I thought I'd check up on things here. While I was out there, I couldn't help looking at the sky. The view of the stars is breathtaking. It's so different over the water. Honestly, it's such a shame we're fighting when we could be feasting on good food and admiring the stars together instead. Guys?
No.
Lame. We've got bigger problems.
Ace? And Orthos turned into a puppet too? What did I miss?
Ernesto got us. He stole our tickets and tore them up. That meant we lost our right to be here, so we got turned into puppets.
Stole? Please! You handed me those tickets completely voluntarily.
I still can't believe I did that. How could I have been so careless?
They got turned into a pickle. Pickle Twisteds.
They got turned into a pickle. I know, right? I can't believe it, Aru. There's only one of them who's not a pickle yet.
You handed them over yourselves? You should know to keep hold of your valuables at all times. Maybe I should have bought you guys some handbags. That way, you could have kept them someplace safe.
I hate being casually talked down to, but I also can't argue. Actually, the more I think about what happened, the less sense it makes. Somehow I got all carried away and excited and didn't stop to question the finer details. Then I let Ernesto talk me into just handing my ticket over like it was no big deal.
Ha ha ha! Have you learned to fear my signature spell now?
Signature spell?
Signature spell. Signature spell.
Is that why they did what you told them to?
Knew it. Mind control magic. But how is Ernesto able to cast such powerful magic with his minuscule reserves? No, that doesn't matter right now. Kaleem's in danger of falling for it too.
Are you ready, Kaleem? Because you're going to hand me your ticket, just like they did. Oh.
Sparkle, sparkle, sparkle.
Come on, to the theater!
Come on, take it easy.
Why, what's wrong with to the theater?
Good question.
Come on to the theater!
Come on, to the theater!
Boing! Run! Not so fast.
Fun.
Do it again.
Life is fun.
Life is fun.
Life is fun.
Life is fun.
Life is fun. Sorry.
Is there anything different about me? I feel pretty much the same as usual, and I still got my ticket.
Yeah, there's no change.
See the pathetic looks on those scholars' faces, Gino? Relax, kids. That was a jake. Just a bit of humor on my part. You think my magic controls people's minds? It's nothing so grand. In fact, I resent being held to the same standard as you arrogant mages with your reliance on magical might. My signature spell, Life is Fun, does one single, simple thing. It makes people a smidgen more optimistic.
Smidgen more optimistic? What kind of vague measurement is smidgen? And I'd appreciate more elaboration on the term optimistic as well.
I don't know. Do spells really have to be explained in such granular detail? I mean, the best way I can describe my signature spell, Oasis Maker, is it makes really good water, and a lot of it.
Really? I could analyze the water's composition and calculate the max volume based on magic consumption and water generation rates.
Yes, but I don't sweat the small stuff like that. Still, researching it with you sounds like it could be fun. Let's do that sometime.
Is this conversation really necessary?
Really? Oh, sorry. I just get so curious about things that can't be quantified. Anyway, I get what Ernesto's talking about. That signature spell is the reason why I've been in such oddly high spirits since yesterday, huh? It's Claire.
Yeah.
Clever comebacks. Only 10 more chapters.
No.
Playful land, playful stage. That signature spell is the reason why I've been in such oddly high spirits since yesterday. Ah,
That's right. You were ready to do tons of things you wouldn't normally do, all without a second thought, right? But, as you boys so gleefully pointed out, my magical prowess is quite lacking. I mean, it doesn't work on just anyone. For example, I can't exactly put someone in a good mood when they've seen their friends fall before their very eyes. I can't force someone to do something they're genuinely opposed to against their will. All I can do is give them a little nudge, just enough to make them go, hey, why not? If someone's wary of me, simply talking to them one-on-one won't make that wariness go away. The best I can do is hope they've got friends who are less guarded. There are plenty of other restrictions, too.
sounds like a real hassle to use with all those. Sounds like a real hassle to use with all those limitations and drawbacks.
Ah, but that's the fun part. You elite scholars might laugh at my piddly little spell. But that's where the great Ernesto's foul conversational skills shine. Once I use my silver tongue to make the suggestion sound like fun, then use my magic to help with that last little nudge. Everybody goes astray. It's actually hilarious how easy it is. And since it's not remotely powerful, I can use it as much as I want. It barely accumulates any blot at all. Even the weakest spells can shine when you know how to use them just right. Take you two, for example. You didn't even know I'd use magic until I told you I had, did you?
For sure. I didn't notice at all. You're seriously amazing, Ernesto.
Yeah, hate to admit it, but it's true. Considering your spell was too weak to be detected, I figured you were barely a threat. We had the advantage over you when it came to magical power and technomantic energy, but we still lost to your finesse.
Ha ha ha! Well, how's it feel getting one-upped on by the very guy you were sneering down at before?
I'm out of clever comebacks.
Now then, your group is down to one person still able to move. An airheaded little rich boy. Conversely, there are two of us. Not to mention our highly dependable hostages. Something tells me you're not going to win this round as handily.
He's gonna use us as shield so Kalim can't attack. Dirty coward.
You've got a pretty poor memory for a scholar. I've corrected you before on this. I'm just playing it smart. Plus, in my infinite brilliance, I just had an even better idea. Say, Kalim.
Huh?
How'd you like to be our friend?
Huh? You want to be friends? Does that mean you want to make up with us?
Not quite. I'm suggesting you ditch these Night Raven College kids and join the winning side instead.
What? You want me to abandon them?
Exactly. You shone more brightly than anyone else in today's show. You've got the profile and the physique of a natural-born superstar. If you worked with us in Playful Land, you'd be a hit in no time. And the sweetest icing on the cake is your incredible wealth. There's nothing more dependable than that. As long as you have money, every problem in the world can be solved. To name one, just as an example, the proprietor of this park expects me to hand over all the Night Raven College students. But if you pay me a tidy sum, I'm sure I can talk them into letting you go. What do you say? It's not a bad deal, right?
It's not bad.
That's right! Come on, just ditch all these puppet saps. We'll keep suckering bad kids and live it up here in Playful Land doing whatever we want. You'll feel silly for ever seriously studying things at school. If you join us, you can say goodbye to that boring school life forever.
Hmm.
Come on, Kalim. What do you say?
What do you think the truth is?
He does want to be their friend.
The truth is, playful land, playful stage.
Ace, Ortho, I've never told anyone this before, but
Colleen?
the truth is, I'm really bad at studying.
No, we know, right? What a time to fess up.
Here I thought those fancy schools only let in bona fide Poindexters.
Even when I try to buckle down and study, I always get tempted by something more fun. Beautiful songs, flashy dancing, good food. There's so many temptations in the world. I've got so many things I'd love to be doing besides studying. Silly me.
Yes, exactly. Nobody wants to study, right? What could be more tedious? You should be a star instead!
But even if there wasn't dancing, singing, and food to tempt me, I would never view school in a negative light. I'm bad at studying, and I don't like doing it, but I know it's necessary. Besides, school isn't just about studying. It's a place for sharing laughter and surprises, a place where lifelong friendships are formed. If I hadn't enrolled in Night Raven College, I never would have met Ace or Ortho. These guys are like precious baby brothers to me. I can't imagine life without them. Plus, there's these guys in Scarabia, my classmates, my clubmates, and so many more people who've become near and dear to me. Studying might be rough sometimes, but when I think about all the friends I've made, I can't help but feel like there's nowhere I'd rather be but Night Raven College.
Please, platitudes make me want to puke. All of you skipped school and came here without permission. You're all lousy students. Let's be real. Deep down, you all hate school. You can't fool me. Quit with the excuses and just admit it!
You're right that skipping school was a bad thing to do. Jamil tried to stop me, but I ignored his warnings. I owe him the biggest apology when I get back. I know I have obligations, but I still want to do fun stuff. Every day's filled with temptations for me. So sometimes it's hard to tell what's right and what's wrong. But I definitely know that abandoning friends is a bad thing. Ernesto, you want to know what I say? I say there's no way I'm ever abandoning my friends to save myself.
Haha, I had a feeling that'd be his response. I mean, he's such a softie that he wouldn't even abandon a trash-talking freshman like me. Here, Colleen, you really put him on blast.
Wow, really? Thanks. Also, what's on blast mean?
Thanks for this posture time, Stick Amethyst.
Oh, my
Serious blow.
My
What's-
phone's losing frames because it's getting really hot.
No.
Let me take off the case.
Okay.
Okay. What I usually do is I get a little ice, the ice pack, and I put it on there. Thank
So
you.
have you gotten any Kirby things this whole time?
Yeah, if you're not, you just have to click refresh. Okay.
And I probably lost a lot of Kirby bucks.
Uh-huh.
I'm up to 95,000.
Oh
Wow.
my goodness.
I have enough to redeem the Asgore cough.
Oh yeah.
Serious blow. I have enough to get almost everything on the thing.
Where are they at?
Serious blow. Playful land, playful stage.
Way to take the wind out of my sails. I was really hoping I could get your last hope to betray you, teaching you a tough lesson about the real world. This kid's so much of a good egg, it's actually a letdown. Guess rich preppy kids can afford to be wholesome.
Never underestimate Kaleem Alathim. No matter what anyone says, he'll defy all logic and find a way to not only spout impractical platitudes, but mean them. Half the fun of school is being atypical individuals like him around. So glad I got to join the Night Raven College student body.
Haven't we had enough fighting, Ernesto? Your signature spell makes people feel more positive, right? That's amazing. Why use something so wonderful for such awful things? It's a waste of perfectly good magic.
Why, you ask? Why else? Money. I turn spoiled rich kids like you into puppets and hand them over in exchange for piles of cold hard cash.
Money? Well, if a little thing like that is all this is about, I can totally fix it.
Whoa. Kaleem, don't rub Ernesto's nose in it.
Huh? Did I say something wrong?
That wasn't unintentional on your part. You just landed a serious blow.
Of course you don't get it. Why would you? Spoiled little rich brat who's never wanted for anything in your life. You wouldn't know what it's like for those of us who can't go to school and grow up dirt poor. Yeah, you're right, Gino. Let's teach this fancy schmancy schoolboy a lesson.
フェローオネストの腕前もわかるってもんさ。
俺と勝負いいぜ受けて立つ
A transcription of
Wait,
the subtitles just had the words
Sorry,
Jesus
Ernesto. I
taxation.
didn't mean to hurt you. I was just trying to say how great your magic was.
Oh, what a kind-hearted scholar you are. That's what I can't stand about you!
Whoa, careful!
wait a minute. Is he trying to tear up Kaleem's tickets?
That
You
old
weren't
guy-
on it.
Why didn't you read your lines?
Are you still there?
Yeah,
Why didn't you read your lines?
I didn't see it.
Where were you looking?
I was looking at all the action, but I didn't realize one of them was mine.
考えたな
任せて
世話の焼ける
砂糖
世話の焼けるって踊らせてやる人儲け全然だ学校なんてやめちまえ
Colleen can take much more strain. Colleen, you don't have to defend us. Just give Ernesto what. Just give Ernesto the what for. Beat him up and teach him a lesson.
You say that, but I can't just ignore you guys.
Why do I use my magic for bad things? Why do I care so much about making money? That's what I want to know. The winner here will be me! Oh, our last hope. He didn't say it.
Say the words our last
Playful
hope.
land. Our last hope. Playful stage.
Now!
Colleen. Colleen.
Gino, hold him in place.
No, stop. Let me go.
Talk about giving me extra work. Excuse me, sir. Gonna need to check your pocket. Ah, there it is.
Rip, rip, rip.
There's no mistaking this shiny, sparkling, playful land ticket. Once I tear this up, you'll be joining the rest of your friends in Puppet Purgatory. Which means I win!
No, not Colleen.
Oh.
I can't move. I lost. Sorry, guys.
Ha ha ha! You see that, Gino? I did it! I've turned all the Night Raven College students into puppets! Ha ha! Ha ha ha! Ha ha! Woo! That was rough.
No, Colleen was our last hope. Seriously? We're actually going out like this? Ugh. You know, I've done my fair share of complaining about school being a dreary, boring place. How was I supposed to know I'd never get to go back? If I'd known this would happen, I would have listened to the house warden. Likewise, I just became a student, and here I am, getting turned into a puppet, and dragging Phil down with me. Will we really never make it back? Lydia, I'm so...
Ernesto, if it's money you're after, I'll pay as much as you want. Just please, let everyone go. Can't you see how sorry we are? Let us go back to school. I'm begging you.
It's too late for that now. Gotta watch it. Shouting makes my injuries flare up. Dude, tick, 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 tick. Answer the phone.
I didn't think it would just keep going forever.
How does he feel
Like
about
usually, time
He
I
looks
know.
unthrilled.
it?
They usually sound effects end after a bit.
Yeah.
Can you tap anything? Oh,
Really? Now of all times? His employer couldn't take a hit to save his life. Hmm? Nah, I'll take it. If I don't, I'll get the 3rd degree later. You keep an eye on these guys. Still ringing. There we go. What is this
it's
next one
never
called?
ending. Glob of gutter truth.
What?
Glob of gutter trash.
There we go.
Playful and playful stage.
It continues. Still hurting all over. But at least I won. I beat a whole group of students from a prestigious arcane academy. I dealt those elite jerks a solid loss, and all without ever having gone to school myself. I beat them. What was it for? Why did I turn down an offer of money? The thing I value the most. Hello? Yes, this is Ernesto Falworth speaking. Your timing is impeccable. I just captured the last of the Night Raven College students. What? Sir, I worked as quickly as I... What? The park puppets? You're invoicing us for their repairs? That wasn't the deal. Why should we have to foot that bill? Okay, that's a little much. If I may, sir, Gino and I have been doing the absolute best we could under the circumstances. You can't just...
When I'm fired.
You glob of gutter trash! Where do you get off? Ow! Huh? Gino. Oh, don't worry about me. I just got a little worked up. So I told that jerk I captured all the Night Raven College students, right? And you know what he said? He said he expected us to get it done sooner! And not only that, he's deducting the cost of the repairs to the puppets and park from our reward. These guys are from Night Raven College! For a bunch of kids, they're still mages armed with powerful magic! Just winning against them is a huge deal. Do I get a single compliment? No! Just a guy calling us useless, societal dregs, and even worse stuff. Is going to school really the be-all, end-all? Is your life over when you fall off the elite path? If only. If only I just had the chance. If only I could have gone to school. But I didn't. Look how I turned out. I've led a married life, never letting myself get tied down by anything. So why is it?
School's a place where you can compete with others, learn what you're capable of, and push yourself to be better than before.
Oh, even that's a learning experience. To me, that's not enough to prove that school serves. That's enough to prove that school serves an important.
But at the same time, there's much one can only learn at Night Raven College. And that's thanks to attending school with so many others. Had I not, there are things I might never have experienced.
An individual's value doesn't rely solely on their magical capabilities or lack thereof.
Same. I actually do think school's valuable.
School's a hassle, but it's far from pointless. Not that you guys could conceive of that. But why, though? It's so fun. All kinds of cool stuff happens at school.
After all, I gotta study at school to be a great mage.
All they've done in life is study. Why is it?
No, you learn from that fancy school you keep sneering at. We'd never lose to a couple of guys who too cowardly to face us head on. Half the fun of school is having atypical individuals like him around. I'm so glad I got to join the Night Raven College student body.
Why is it?
Even if there wasn't dancing, singing, and food to tempt me, I would never view school in a negative light. I'm bad at studying, and I don't like doing it, but I know it's necessary. Besides, school isn't just about studying. It's a place for sharing laughter and surprises, a place where lifelong friendships are formed.
Why is it that they seem so much freer and merrier than either of us?
I remember that song. It was like a kind of sad, more emotional version of this theme.
Oh, I didn't notice.
And I was listening to oh wait, no, not this theme. Like do, 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 do. Oh, I hate that sound. No, I guess it's just later on in the song. It's the main theme of the menu theme. I mean,
Really?
it's a sad version of the. Right, that little theme. That's when you first open Twisted Wonderland.
Ah. I didn't notice.
I don't think that's an event-specific song. I think it's just one of the standard songs, but I never heard it before.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, noticed.
Yeah.
Oh, did you say a wake-up call?
No,
Can you say
a
a
wake up
wake-up?
call.
And were they waking up during the call?
Playful land, playful stage.
Why is it that they seem so much freer and merrier than either of us? What, Gino? Excuse me? I am not jealous. Of course I'm sure. Come on, you dunderhead, pay more attention.
Wait, I can't hear you.
Me? How about now?
What happened?
Hello?
There we go.
I didn't do anything.
I think that's a Discord thing. It did huh in the middle of the line, and then you just went away.
Come on, you dunderhead, pay attention. Pay more attention. Yeah, huh? Those were good times, all right. They weren't easy times, that's for sure, but at least our lives had direction, you know? Remember the time I passed you off as a puppet to try and make some money? You nearly put one over those greedy fools. Oh yeah, that was masterful. Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. Okay, I admit it. You were right. I've been so jealous of students, it's been burning me up. The fountain of knowledge, huh? How nice would it have been if we'd had some wonderful school where we could have studied to our heart's content. First, I let that envy fuel more productive efforts at making money, but at some point it turned into a personal grudge. I let those emotions get the better of me, and look at me now, dancing to the tune of one of the rich folks I hate so much. It's beyond pathetic. I bring shame to the name Ernesto Foulworth. Ow! What's wrong with you, you ninny? Why are you swinging your mallet at me? Huh? Excuse me? Well, color me surprised. You're the last guy I expected to hear that suggestion from. You know what? You're right. Where's the fun in things otherwise? Can't believe I needed a wake-up call from you, of all people. Clearly, I've got a long ways still to go. What's his idea?
Clearly a catch. Playful land, playful stage. Well, guys, thank you for everything. Even if I get sent to work at the bottom of the ocean, and Kalim goes to the North Pole, and Ace goes to work in a scorching desert, I'll never lose my data of the wonderful times we all shared together. Is that supposed to make us feel better? Because I only feel scared. Honestly, no way are any of us getting sent anywhere extreme like that. You really think so? Was I too worried? Yes, Ernesto's clearly treating us as special. If I were to take a guess, we'll get showcased all over the world as puppets with no strings, or puppets with magic. We'll be treated as spectacle, and after the years take their toll, we'll get tossed in an incinerator to keep us quiet. And you thought what I was saying was scary? Your scenario's way worse and contains far too much detail.
Don't worry, guys. It'll be okay. I'll find a way to save us.
Okay, how?
Question. For starters, I could invite Ernesto to a party where we eat good food and talk things out with each other.
We've been through this.
Oh, Ernesto and Gino are back.
Are you here to ship us off now?
Here you are.
Oh, what was that?
Oh, Bright.
What?
Huh? I can move. And the bits of me that turned into wood are back to normal.
We're not puppets anymore. We're humans again.
Why did you change us back? I was kind of liking being made of wood. You wouldn't simply set us free for nothing. What's your angle?
Ortho!
Huh?
Ace!
Yes?
And Kaleem!
What's up?
After bearing witness to your bravery, honesty, and kindness, I, Ernesto Foulworth, am deeply moved. As such, please allow us to join your wonderful group.
Huh? What?
Really? Oh, finally understand that we just want to be friends. That's good.
No, it isn't. He's just turning around and deciding to join us? Merely a catch. You already spent ample time mocking us. What's your plan now? This is beyond suspicious. Why would I stand here and let you hoodwink us again when I could just fry you with my beam right now?
Whoa, whoa, slow down. I can understand your resentment considering how handily you lost to us, but hear me out. I'm done being the Playful Land manager. In fact, I'm ready to wash my hands of this entire park.
Well, yeah? Good on you. What brought on this change of heart?
Long story short, I got tired of taking the boss's guff. Get a load of this. Gino said we should just ditch that loser already.
What is guff?
Is all the just annoying stuff he says.
Ha ha ha! He's one bad boy, isn't he?
huh? What comes next? Now that you're done with this place, will you try to start a career with those acting skills of yours?
Next? Next? Good question. What is it I want to do now? Well, it's pretty clear what I have to do.
You don't have to explain yourself. After how much you fooled us already, why would we start believing you now? Rue, this is our chance. I say it's royal beatdown time.
Oh, hey! Come on, guys, don't do that.
I had a feeling you wouldn't listen. But I can hardly blame you for your skepticism. If you refuse to believe my words, then have a look over there.
Still feeling all heavy.
My legs are stiff as boards. You, Grim. I'm behind them.
I feel like my shoulders and back are never going to stop cracking. What an ordeal.
I couldn't avenge my honor on my own. And have to crawl back on like this? Pathetic. Oh, how wonderful it is to be able to speak freely again. I could talk forever.
Boy, is it great to be back to normal. I was seriously afraid we were going to be stuck like that forever. Let's not do that again. Being stuck in the same position for so long has been terrible for my blood flow. I'll need a massage to head off any swelling.
Going to an epic theme park and getting turned into a puppet was a disaster. But Oto. What's that?
On the other hand.
OTOH. How would you say that out loud? Like cat.
I don't know.
It was pretty rare as far as experiences go.
Depending on how you look at it. A life where you never have to worry about moving yourself would have actually been pretty chill. And talk about boring. Not being able to cut loose was seriously eating me up. Everyone's back to normal. But not the phone. We've got a truce. Playful and playful stage.
Guys, I missed you all so much. I'm glad you're okay.
It's good to see you again.
It took you long enough to rescue us. I couldn't move, I couldn't talk. I was just a rigid wooden puppet. I seriously thought it was over for me.
It must have been so scary for you two. Don't worry, you're okay now.
See? If I wasn't actually going to quit being Playful Land's manager, it would make no sense for me to release all these dangerous individuals, you three included.
What?
Happens. Hold on. What? Your
What?
stream. Start it over.
Huh? Is it just on that old guy's end?
I don't know what's going on. Everything's fine
Hold
for
on.
me.
Oh. Hold on. Hold on, I'm gonna refresh.
What happened?
It suddenly started off like right at the very beginning of the stream. And I was wondering if he'd suddenly closed the stream somehow by accident.
No.
That was so weird.
Just leave the app to come back.
Yeah, I refreshed it. But it's just spinning and spinning. Failed to determine content classification. That was weird.
Did you not restart the app?
No, I just have it in a window.
Get your life sorted, Mr. Coates. Come on.
I'm trying.
Ooh, Throlin. Always technical difficulties on Fartstra's end.
No, I don't like Farstra. I'm gonna cry.
No. Yeah, there's technical difficulties
Okay.
we're having, but welcome in, Throlin. How you doing? Good to see you, pal.
It finally caught back up.
Goodness gracious.
That was weird.
And probably entirely avoidable.
That's me.
Aww.
Okay. So, are we good to continue?
Been in for a while. Just had it at the background while grinding on WoW. That's awesome. Thank you for leaving the stream on. And
Yeah, thank you.
enjoy your WoW. It's WoW Wednesday.
It's Sunday.
Oh, dang it.
Wait, so was everyone ready?
I am.
That old guy?
Yeah.
Dangerous individuals? Really? Ernesto came over to our cave just a while ago and released us from the spell.
I inquired as to his reason for freeing us, and his answer was rather surprising.
Yeah.
Yes, that's precisely what I was getting to. How could any compassionate person condone this heinous, atrocious, horrific park? Wouldn't you agree, Gino?
It's the guy who was helping to run that Champagne is atrocious at horrific park until a scant few seconds ago.
To prevent any more tragic puppet transformations and punish the greedy evildoers who threaten world peace. Not to mention to express my immense gratitude to my former employers. I'm gonna tear the whole park down and ensure it never opens its doors again.
You're gonna do what? No. Aren't you sure that's advisable?
Positive. I just dispelled the park's magic. If you still don't believe me, Gino and I are happy to put on a demonstration. Hey, Stacy, welcome in. Hope you had a nice little sleep.
Me hoy, me noy.
Me hi, me night.
SpongeBob, Doodlebob.
That's Doodle Bob LePunge. Help me scrap the park, and I'll change the ship's heading to Sage's Island. Let's be real. Playful Land's a big place. We're not gonna tear it apart with just the two of us. So, what do you say? Are you in?
Don't look to us for guidance. Can't you think for yourselves? You guys did the most work today. You can make the...
Doodle Bob LePunge. Of course, Stacy, the most iconic character. OMG, it's Stacy! It is! She's here! She arises from her nap, from her slumber.
No promises. I'll play along though. Trust your judgment.
Well, I'm waiting.
Just to be clear, I don't trust you at all. We'll work with you, but only until the moment we reach land. Good call. Mutual cooperation seems to be the most sensible solution if we want to get back to Sage's Island. I guess we've got a truce.
Great. I've wanted to be friends with you and Gino this whole time. I'm glad you extended the offer. We're buddies now, and we're all in this together.
Yeah, that's great. Could you please stop slapping me on the back now?
It's in pain.
Anyway, I appreciate this. We couldn't ask for better backup than you, scholars. Now then, hard to starboard! I've got one last job to do as manager. Is everyone ready? Time to raise the curtains on Playful Land's final show! It's showtime! I'm doing alright, just playing some WoW, grinding it out. Stacy, glad you're doing okay. Whoa. Look at them dancing. One, two, three. Heck yeah, we love to hear that. Yeah. Stacy says hi, Fastra, and that old guy.
Hello.
Stace.
Can you tell it's the main three singing?
Oh. No, I only picked up on Ortho. Is that Colleen?
Uh-huh.
Oh, I see. Hey.
Look at them destroying everything.
Yay. Nice.
I don't know if you can hear me, but Sarah's voice is entirely pixelated.
I can hear you, yeah.
I was just, it's probably picking up the sun. I took it off the ice block and now I've had to put it back on.
Oh.
Because just that little time it started getting real hot again.
Mm-hmm.
We could all swim. Playful and Mazar.
Take this! Ultra Grim Attack!
Nicely executed, Grim.
Stupid Playful Land trying to turn me into some dumb puppet. I ain't done breaking you by a long shot. This wall's gotta go too! Hey, I see some light off in the distance over the water. Is that?
Oh, is that? It's Sage's Island. All right, this is really happening. We're going back to Night Raven. But considering we'll have to face the teachers and my house warden, maybe we shouldn't celebrate too much.
Yeah, this is great news.
Holy guacamole.
Are we sinking? That explosion, was that the pool hall?
It's not just that. There are explosions going off at the Brawling Bungalow, the Ferris wheel, and all sorts of other places.
Uh-oh. Oh, sweet, the floor is cracking.
It certainly is. Is the ship sinking?
Wait, isn't that bad?
Oh, Rod, can't sink now. We're still way too far from land.
Oh dear. We might have gone a wee bit overboard on the demolition.
How are you so chill about this? Wait, does this ship have lifeboats and stuff?
Oh, that makes sense. This is a huge ship meant to carry a lot of people. They'd have to be equipped for a worst case scenario, right?
Ha ha ha! Please, do you actually think Playful Land has any safety measures in place for its guests?
Not when you put it that way. Then why aren't you more concerned? We're taking on so much water, our shoes are getting soaked.
Why? Because I have all of you here. You're smart little scholars, right? Put those educated noggins to use and whip up a solution real quick, would you?
Talk about passing the buck. I can't think of a single spell that could move this giant ship.
What do we do? Oh, I know. We could all swim for it.
Oh, I second that motion. I veto it. We're too far out from shore for anyone but Floyd and Jade to make it there safely. Come on, guys. No need to panic. I've got this. Don't worry. Just wait here. Wait, Ortho. You can't just fly off like that. Where are you going?
Did Ortho really just escape on his own? The cowardice!
Nonsense. He's not you, you know.
Oh.
Looks like Ortho dove into the water.
Okay, wind directions find. Putting set. Engine rev to full. High-speed flutter kick mode engaged. Full speed ahead.
Hey, Ortho.
No.
Don't tell me. Playful and bizarre. The bottom of the ocean.
Whoa.
The ship's speed just ramped way up. What in the world? It's never gone this fast before.
We're getting closer to land by the second. Ortho must be doing this. Now we'll definitely reach Sage's Island before we sink. We're saved.
Playful land entrance. We actually made it to Sage's Island. Ortho, you propelled the ship, right? Thanks for that. You're a lifesaver. Seriously, thank you. You're very welcome. We're lucky the ship held together long enough to reach land. It's belching smoke from a dozen places, and it's half sunk at this point.
Boy, now that I'm looking at it from shore, I'm sure it did a number on it. I was kind of iffy about tearing it down at first, but it turned out to be really fun. I got super into it by the end. Wait.
Don't tell me. Ernesto Falwood, you didn't use your signature spell on us, did you?
Who could say, really? What do you think? Ha 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 ha!
Listen to that smarm. It's only gonna get worse from here, you know.
Huh? What do you mean?
Oh, grown-ups can't excuse this kind of thing just by going, I felt like quitting, so I literally burned my bridges. Come to think of it, pretty sure no one can, grown up or not.
If someone tore up my turf, I'd for sure tear into them. Guaranteed. Indeed. And I seem to recall a braggadocious speech about how powerful the Playful Land proprietor is. You're going to be a wanted man, Ernesto.
Wait, he is? Is he gonna be okay?
Please. The great Ernesto Foulworth wouldn't have overlooked something so basic. We've made it through our fair share of hazards so far. We wouldn't be stupid enough to get ourselves caught.
You say that, but I'm still worried about you. I know. What if you came to Night Raven College? You'll have food and a place to sleep and plenty of friendly company. And you know what? You've got that amazing signature spell. If the head mage found out about it, who knows? He could be all like, you positively must enroll in our school.
My! An invitation to Night Raven College? It sounds nice. Life would be a lot more peaceful if I could go to a prestigious school. And it'd give me a reputation boost.
What? I don't want to go to the same school as this guy.
But I must respectfully decline. I mean, let's be real. The rest of the student body's gotta be a bunch of bad eggs like you guys, right? It'd be unbearable having to suffer that many fools day in and day out. I wouldn't go there even if you begged me.
Nah, somehow I'm turning down the offer is even more rage-inducing.
I've got no interest in attending some stuffy, stuck-up school. Instead,
Gotta do the other two dialogue options real quick.
oh yeah.
Where are you looking? I'll swap to telescopic mode and check. I see the town. It's Sage's Island. It's happening, you. We're going back to Night Raven.
And that's the same, right?
Hmm.
Don't call me. Really, you? You should know I'm incapable of catching colds. But I appreciate your concern. We're lucky the ship held together. What happened? Time for us to go back to school, that is. Time for us to go. Playful Land entrance, exit.
Instead, I think I'm going to build a better school. The kind that I'd want to go to.
Huh? You want to build a school?
That's right. One that welcomes minor mages like me and non-mages like Gino. A magnificent educational institution that teaches students things with practical, real-world value.
That's a wonderful goal.
Isn't it, though? You'd be welcome to transfer there once it's established. You've got the stubbornness and brazenness to make it there. In fact, I'll even let you skip the entrance exam. Ha ha ha!
How interesting. I like that idea. But I trust you're aware that won't be an easy goal to accomplish.
Oh, absolutely. Right now, I've got nowhere to go and nary a sourcent to my name. Oh, how low the great Ernesto Fawet has fallen. There's bound to be hardships ahead, and I strongly doubt anyone will hop on board with my ridiculous dream. What do you do now, Gino? Will you stick with me anyway? Okay, calm down. Talk about overjoyed at nothing. You really are the ninniest of ninnies. Stretching time. Thank you,
Hey,
Stick Mom.
so you know you don't get to just call things good with us, right? I, for one, am not about to let either of you off the hook.
Yeah, no, me neither. You're gonna pay for what you've done.
Hard agree. I ain't about to forgive and forget all the fun you had at my expense. You better come quietly.
Whoa, careful there. I wouldn't want to overstay our welcome. We'd best see ourselves out.
Hey, get back here. Don't you run away. Wait, are you actually going to take off the Playful Land ship? That's barely seaworthy.
Sure I am. After all the work I put into it, I'm gonna sail this thing into the seafloor.
Aw, you're leaving so soon? Hey, Ernesto, when you do get your school built, let me know, okay?
Oh, will you come visit?
No, I'll make a big donation.
You're an insufferable twerp to the very last. Ugh. Good guys are the worst. No thanks, Kaleem. I'm not that desperate. We'll manage. We always have. Exactly, Gino. As long as I'm around, there's nothing to be afraid of. After all, I'm the star of the dropout world. The guy whose wits were a match for even the smarty pants Night Raven students.
Shut up, you scam artist!
Well, time for us to go. Who knows? Maybe if we're lucky, we'll see each other again. On that shining stage called life.
I thought that was you.
No.
No, look at you in the whistling. I was like, oh.
Hey. The end. Yay! We finished the Playful Land event! Nice. Let's go, Stacy. We did it. That's the end of the event story. And that ends tonight
この教科書は
until 23:59 today.
おいギデル見たかここの食堂の豪華
Mr. Floyd SR. Wait, why does it say Playful Lands Miraculous Marionettes is Miraculous Marionettes?
I hear.
What happened?
Hello? I couldn't hear you for like the past minute ever since the ending screen was showing.
Oh, I was talking. Do you see the typo here?
Me neither.
Playful Lands Miraculous Marionettes, Miraculous Marionettes. Yes! I'm here, man.
I can hear you.
But you typed in chat, can you hear me?
I said that like a minute ago.
No, it looks like it just showed up.
I said that before.
Hey.
Bum 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 bum.
いやいらっしゃいご機嫌いかが
Ah, new background.
お目が高い
Hey.
Thank you こんにちは
Now I have everything from the event.
Hey.
Yay.
Epic.
おいギデル見たかここの食堂の豪華さと言ったら今のうちに食えるだけ食っとけよ
So, overall thoughts on this event?
It was fun. It didn't go the direction I expected, though. I thought they were gonna. I mean, I know they couldn't leave them as puppets, but I didn't expect Ernesto to, change his tune and, let them all go.
Yeah.
5%.
It was crazy because, everyone got turned into a puppet. So I was wondering how they were going to get out of that situation, but I didn't know it would be him himself who turned off the magic.
Yeah. And here's the kind of stuff he says during his lessons.
It was cool seeing them go through the park, trying to avoid the
宿
puppets
題
and
に
whatnot.
テスト
Yeah.
行こう授業へ
Let's go to class.
口答えはなし売り込みの時に使えそうだ
見直しは入念に。
売り込みの時に使えそうだ気を用いた授業売り込みの時に使えそうだ
Usually he doesn't just say the sales pitch thing over
今
and
日はここまで各自
over. Okay.
これが魔法師養
Train
成
Max
学校の授業か
Oh. Well, we better end now because
おいギレ
My phone's
見た
about to
か
run out of
こ
power.
この食堂の豪華さといったら
Of course, Jaws
今
phone.
のうちに食えるだけ食っとけよ
That was an epic event, y'all. Thank you, Stacy Joanne Throwin and Mr. Hoshikawa _Aru for coming by, as well as Stick Amethyst. Thank you all for coming and watching this epic event.
Yay, thank you guys for voicing it all with me.
Yeah,
It was fun.
I agree. Night, Mr. Aru. See you, Miss Stacy. Alrighty. If you ever find yourself trying to be sweet talked by a cunning man like Ernesto, then you take care out there.
Again,